Right now, at 6, deputies seek 2 persons of interest in connection to a death investigation in Jasper County, Missouri.
And we've got a much cooler start across the area this morning. It's going to be cooler today. We're going to see clouds increasing across the area. We'll take a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, voters in parts of our area get ready to head to the polls for Super Tuesday. We'll have a preview.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So it is Tuesday across the 4 states.
Yes, it is Super Tuesday.
It is Super Tuesday out there. So lots of stuff to keep an eye on today. And then it's a little cooler out there today.
A little bit chillier. Not too bad.
No, not bad at all. We're almost to Wednesday. And that puts us halfway through the work week, halfway through the first week of March. Yeah, it's not bad.
Not bad. Nothing to complain about over here.
Not yet, anyway. So hopefully it'll stay that way.
Yes.
Let's take a quick look outside. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. And as you can see, we've got clear skies in Joplin right now, but those clouds will begin to increase across the area. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line. If you look close enough just behind the banner and above the lights, you can see a few clouds out to the east. As that cold front rolls through, we've had some scattered showers and thunderstorms, really not much in our immediate area. Back to the west, more clouds starting to fill in out there. We've got this complex of storms. It's had some severe thunderstorm warnings with it as it continues to roll east of I-49 down in northwestern Arkansas, and more showers and storms up around the Rolla area, slowly pushing off to the east-northeast as well. All part of that front, but as you can see, right in our immediate area, other than a few stray showers, it's had a hard time filling in out there, but you can see again that where that boundary is. Behind it, one upper 30 in Fort Scott, the rest of us low to mid 40s. Ahead of it, still into the mid, even upper 50s out there, but you'll eventually begin to cool off as that front pushes on through. Kids getting on the bus this morning, mostly cloudy skies, north breeze about 5 to 10, sitting about 44. And as that bus brings them back home, around 55. So again, much cooler today. We're about 20 degrees cooler across the board for our temperatures today. Mostly cloudy still, winds a little gustier, north at 15 to 20, but not as breezy as what we saw yesterday. Mostly cloudy skies, highs mid-upper 50s out there. We're going to stay dry today and tonight. And then for most of tomorrow, we're dry. We got some thunderstorm chances late tomorrow night, heading into Thursday and Friday, and we'll look at all that in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
Thanks, Chris. Well, Jasper County deputies search for 2 persons of interest in connection to a death investigation. On Saturday evening, Jasper County deputies responded to an address near 7th Street and State Line Avenue regarding an assault. Authorities transported the male victim, Seth Langford of Carl Junction, to a local hospital with severe injuries from an apparent stabbing. He later died from his injuries. Detectives are currently looking for these 2 individuals as persons of interest: Scott Burleson of Wyandotte, Oklahoma, and Paul Phillips of Seneca, Missouri. If you have any information on these men, please contact the Jasper County Sheriff's Department. On Friday, the Barton County Sheriff's Office received a call regarding the discovery of an adult male body dumped at the Prairie View Regional Waste Landfill in Lamar, Missouri. The victim's body, identified as Manuel Gomez from the Springfield area, was believed to have come in on a trash truck. Troopers say the Barton County Sheriff's Office reached out to them to take the lead in the investigation. Federal authorities charge a Joplin man with receiving and distributing child pornography. Authorities say 22-year-old Reagan Elijah Alexa Garcia, also known as Elijah Hicklin, was part of a group on the messaging app Kik that discussed and traded online messages and videos of child porn. He is currently in federal custody. He has a detention hearing scheduled for tomorrow. To be the first to see breaking news of weather and sports, download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. The Pittsburgh School Board yesterday approved adding 2 new courses to their offerings. Those courses are financial literacy and earth and space science. Officials say those courses will fall under new graduation requirements starting with the class of 2028. The financial literacy course will be offered to upperclassmen. The Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce wants your nominations for the 2024 Small Business and Educator of the Year Awards. Selections for small business are based on evidence of successful operation of a business as well as significant contributions to the community. Selections for educator are based on the teacher's ability to inspire students of all backgrounds and abilities to reach their full potential. If you have a small business or educator you'd like to nominate, head on over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Today is Super Tuesday, and that includes the Oklahoma primary elections. This election year in Oklahoma, independent voters can only vote via the Democratic Party ballot. The Republican and Libertarian parties chose to keep their primaries closed, meaning independent registered voters cannot use a Republican or Libertarian ballot.
If you are an registered independent voter, then you are able to vote the Democrat ballot. The Democrat Party was the only party that allowed independents to vote their primary this time.
Those voting in the Oklahoma primaries can do so at their 13 polling sites between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Supreme Court has temporarily frozen enforcement of Texas's controversial immigration law. Plus, the biggest day of the presidential primary season so far is here. We have what you need to know. And Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Miami, Oklahoma for Super Tuesday.
$1.99 Sonic Crispy Tender Wraps are here to explain. It's soda, the best ice in the world, plus a refreshing blend of coconut, sweet cream, and lime. When it's that delicious, you can call it whatever the heck you want. New dirty drinks now at Sonic.
Topping Nation Watch this morning. Remember when Elon Musk took over Twitter and immediately fired its key executives last year? Well, now they're suing him. The group includes the company's former CEO, CFO, and chief legal officer. They say Musk owes them more than $128 million in severance. That money was never paid because Musk claimed they were fired for gross negligence and willful misconduct. But they say he has no proof of any of that. The lawsuit alleges Musk is trying to bilk them out of that money as a form of revenge. That's because the group claims he was forced to go through with the $44 billion acquisition after spending months trying to get out of it. The Federal Aviation Administration has found multiple instances of quality control issues at Boeing following a 6-week audit. The audit came after the in-flight door plug blowout on an Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9 in January. The FAA investigators found non-compliance issues in multiple areas of Boeing's operation. This is in addition to a separate report started prior to the door plug incident but released last month that found gaps in Boeing's safety culture. The FAA gave Boeing 90 days to produce a quality improvement plan to fix issues and address findings of both the latest audit and the earlier report. Boeing did not have an immediate comment on the FAA's most recent statement, but in January, the CEO, David Calhoun, conceded Boeing needed to improve its quality controls. The Supreme Court has temporarily frozen enforcement of Texas's controversial immigration law until at least next week. Monday's decision comes after the Biden administration filed an emergency application with the High Court earlier in the day to try to block the law from taking effect. Texas Senate Bill 4 was signed into law in December by Governor Greg Abbott. It allows for state law enforcement to arrest and detain people they suspect of entering the country illegally. The Supreme Court's temporary pause will hold until March 13th instead of the law going into effect on March 10th. This break now gives the court additional time to review the case. Last week, a federal judge in Texas blocked the state from implementing the law. Well, the biggest day of the presidential primary season so far is here, with voters in more than a dozen states and one territory heading to the polls. It comes one day after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against Colorado's efforts to remove former President Donald Trump from the ballot. On the Democratic side, President Biden faces two long-shot challengers and continues resistance to his handling of the Israel-Hamas war. CBS News correspondent Skylar Henry is in Alexandria, Virginia, where Super Tuesday voting will be underway in just a few hours.
Super Tuesday is here, with hundreds of delegates up for grabs in 15 states and American Samoa. Last night, the GOP frontrunner, former President Donald Trump, swept the North Dakota GOP caucuses. It followed the release of the Supreme Court's unanimous decision, which says states like Colorado cannot disqualify Trump from the ballot.
It was a very important decision. I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together.
For Republican rival Nikki Haley, it's make or break amid growing GOP calls for her to drop out of the race. Though, over the weekend, she picked up her first primary win in Washington, D.C.
We can either have more of the same, or we can go in a new direction.
New CBS News polling shows that a large margin of likely voters have negative feelings about a possible Biden-Trump rematch. Those same polls show President Biden currently 4 points behind Trump in a head-to-head matchup. Meanwhile, activists in states like Minnesota are pushing those headed to Democratic primary polls today to vote uncommitted in protest of Biden's handling of the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza.
We all want this conflict to end as soon as possible.
Even if both frontrunners pull off a clean sweep tonight, they still won't win enough delegates to clinch their party's nomination. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Alexandria, Virginia.
KOAM News will have extensive coverage of the Super Tuesday primaries. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
And we've got a much cooler start out there for us today across the area. That cold front has rolled through and is continuing to do so. We have a few stray showers just reaching into parts of Berry County near Cassville, just east of Cassville. We really didn't see much out of this, but you can see where we've got scattered showers and storms, even some severe thunderstorms into parts of northwestern Arkansas this morning. Our camera at 7th and Range Line showing clear skies so far this morning, but clouds will increase across the area, and we're going to be about 20 degrees cooler today as we go into the upper 50s, mostly cloudy skies. We'll have another full look at your forecast, including some additional shower and thunderstorm chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Are you tired of waiting for your
Brian going on another sales call today?
Sure did.
It's hard to stop a train.
Tickets on sale now for Vita Nova Village's Mom Prom, March 9th.
One Missouri man is helping shelter dogs in the Kansas City area get in better shape. It's a mobile gym that allows the canines to climb on a treadmill and work up a sweat, or rather a heavy pant. Alan Shope has the story.
And how much does Dennis weigh?
65, 70.
Yeah, KC Pet Project pup Dennis is right about in his weight class.
That's right.
A lot of that is because Dennis likes going to the gym, or rather the gym coming to him.
Sometimes you get this hesitation like, why the hell is this?
Fernandoku with Jog Dat Dog volunteers his mobile gym to area shelters like the KC Pet Project to get shelter dogs that spend a lot of time in kennels out walking.
Almost like I'm teaching your kid to ride a bicycle.
It's 2 flat mill treadmills in the back of a temperature-controlled van, helping get the zoomies out.
Dogs are really smart. They start like just zooming and they just can't stop.
Usually he'll run about 6 to 8 of our most high energy dogs, the ones that would be the perfect running buddy for you.
Vernon says the workout sessions last between 20 and 30 minutes long. He says that's equivalent to about 5 miles.
The goal is make it seem like something that's very exciting. There you go.
Vernon says he volunteers for the shelters to learn more about different breeds of dogs, and because
dogs are cooped up in the kennels. KCPP has about 300 dogs that need some sort of outlet to get your energy out. They have to get to know me and get to trust me, and once that happens, I get more out of them. Good boy!
Well, if you're in the Kansas City area, Dog Dat Jog is available for home service. Vernon says they'll bring the dog gym right to your door.
And we've got ourselves a cooler start out there. We've got clouds off to the east with some thunderstorm activity out there, and then we will see clouds increasing across the area today. We'll take a look at your forecast when we come back.
Sponsored by Integris Health with hospitals in Miami and Grove. Integris Health, partnering with people to live healthier lives.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 621 now on this Tuesday morning. Live shot from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Got a great sunrise out there, a little cooler this morning. And those are the clouds associated with some storms that are off to our east. And unfortunately, that's where they're going to stay. We're not really getting a lot of rain out of this cold front, but worry not, more rain chances on the way. MoDOT camera 32nd and range line also looking fairly good as the sun comes up this morning. And there are those storms. Those clouds off to the east, they're just outside of our area, just to the east of Cassville. Some showers out there. Down south, though, this batch of thunderstorms, as you saw, has had some severe thunderstorm warnings with it. None with it now, but you can see it kind of regrouping part of the southern edge of this cold front. And we've got, again, showers and thunderstorms trying to develop just outside of our area and just to the east of Cassville along this front. And some showers and thunderstorms rolling through the Rolla area along I-44. And this is another good view. You can see the thunderheads out there from those storms off to the east as they try and develop. Otherwise, a nice looking sunrise out there. 42 in Joplin, so much cooler than we were yesterday, feeling like 38. With north breeze at about 7, there's another great view of where that cold front sharply cuts off there. So low to mid 40s back behind it. Ahead of it, still upper 50s and low 50s out there. But again, as it continues to shove off to the southeast, those temperatures will fall with the rest of us. Mostly cloudy skies today, 52 by 11 o'clock this morning. Heading into the afternoon, mostly cloudy. North winds a bit breezy, 15 to 20 miles an hour out there, but not as windy as what we saw yesterday as we go upper 50s. Heading into the evening, our temperatures fall back in the low to mid 40s and we will remain mostly cloudy. And then as we head into late Wednesday night and into Thursday and Friday, we're going to start to see some more scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area, and they will stick with us throughout the majority of the day on Thursday, and then they'll continue into Friday. We'll have a brief break by about mid-morning Friday before we see additional showers and thunderstorms out there, and some of those on Thursday could be strong to low-grade severe. So this is associated with the front, and you saw in the Skywatch Storm Tracker some thunderstorms trying to develop, but they're just not filling that gap out there. We could have those scattered thunderstorms late tomorrow night, and then by Thursday we have that low end risk across a portion of the area for some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds, so something we will keep an eye on for you. In between now and then, we're going to go into the 60s heading into tomorrow all the way into Friday. Showers and thunderstorms out there, and then we're a little cooler Saturday, and warm weather though quickly returns by Sunday and into next week with more rain chances next Wednesday and Thursday. That's Check Your Forecast. Now we'll send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks, Chris. Getting COVID-19 increases the risk of autoimmune inflammatory rheumatic diseases for up to a year later. That's according to a new study from South Korea, which shows the worse the COVID infection, the greater the risk becomes. Researchers say patients recovering from severe COVID should keep an eye out for symptoms including joint pain or swelling. The mortality rate for Black infants is more than double that of white, Hispanic, or Asian babies. New CDC data shows the rate for Black infants is 10.5 deaths for every 1,000 births, while the national average is 5.5. According to the Commonwealth Fund, the U.S. has the highest infant mortality rate among high-income countries. And women with multiple sclerosis can safely take certain medications while breastfeeding. A new study from the American Academy of Neurology finds treating MS with monoclonal antibodies does not cause developmental delays during a child's first 3 years of life. MS affects women 2 to 3 times more often than men, and it typically develops between 20 and 40 years old. Argentina show a massive die-off of elephant seals that happened late last year. According to scientists, more than 18,000 seal pups died, and the deaths are now being blamed on a surprising threat, the virus we know as bird flu. Bradley Blackburn has more on why it could be a warning sign.
Along the rugged coast of western Argentina, dying elephant seals filled the beaches last year, a sight that horrified researcher Valeria Falabella.
Someone described it as apocalyptic.
She and her colleagues estimate 18,000 dead, most of them pups. More than 95% of the seals born here in 2023 did not survive.
This kind of mortality is completely new for us.
H5N1, the virus known as avian influenza, has been circulating in birds for decades. Last year's sky-high egg prices were due to a 2022 outbreak that affected 58 million chickens in the U.S. alone. There have been cases where the virus spreads from infected birds to mammals. Now researchers fear it may be moving from one mammal to another.
You feel like it's likely? I think it's quite likely. Humans visit the sea edge.
Dr. Chris Walzer with the Wildlife Conservation Society in New York says we need better tracking of viruses in animals to better protect humans.
This avian influenza outbreak in the last 3 years has been one of the largest threats to wildlife globally. We just can't wait for it to hit human populations. We need to be working upstream to look at what's happening in these wildlife populations.
He says the risk remains low, but the virus is changing quickly. These images should be a warning to governments.
We really need to be on it to see, is the virus acquiring new traits that could create a problem for us humans?
This virus has the potential to be a pandemic.
Absolutely.
In Argentina, they will be counting the seals again this year, hoping for a better outcome.
I will never thought that I will have this kind of sight in my life.
Watching for signs of a spreading virus. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back.
In the heart of Grove, Oklahoma, a new era of healthcare
Of up to $300 off a professionally installed and supplied water heater. Schedule now at gopaschal.com.
Right now at 6:30, high winds and dry conditions can lead to high fire risk here in the 4 states.
And we've got ourselves a much cooler start out there. Clouds will be increasing today. Temperatures, not so much, but they won't be too bad. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the end of an era as demolition crews bring down a familiar landmark in Liberal, Missouri.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning, 4 states, and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's Tuesday here in the 4 states.
Yes, it is.
And we're making our way through the first full week of March out there.
And it's been pretty nice so far.
It's not been too bad. Yesterday was really warm. I mean, almost May-like temperatures for the area. But very windy as well.
Very windy.
It's going to be breezy again today, but it shouldn't be too bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad at all, but it will be a little cooler. Let's take a look outside. From the MoDOT camera, 32nd and Range Line in Joplin, looking fairly good this morning as we get a little daylight out there. And as we take a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker, we've got a couple of thunderstorms just immediately outside of our area to the east of Monette, Mount Vernon, and Cassville out there. That's the other end of this cold front that pushed through last night. We didn't really get much with it, unfortunately. Down south, this thunderstorm complex has had some severe thunderstorm warnings with it, kind of merging together with another storm complex right over Batson in northwest Arkansas, but of course staying to our south. As you follow the front a little further north, Rolla just continuously seeing showers and storms develop and redevelop along the front, which is trailing right along Interstate 44. And there's another good view of it with that temperature divide out there. We've got low 40s across most of the area, and then where that front hasn't rolled through yet, we do have some upper 50s and some low 50s out there. But again, those temperatures will continue to drop through the morning as that front rolls through. So we're about 20 degrees colder this morning than where we were yesterday. Kids getting on the bus, 44, mostly cloudy skies, north breeze at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. When that bus brings them home, still mostly cloudy, 55. Wind's a bit breezy, but not as gusty as they were yesterday, north at about 15 to 20 miles an hour. Highs again today, about 20 degrees cooler than yesterday as well as we go mid-upper 50s, mostly cloudy skies across the area. We will stay dry for today, tonight, and most of tomorrow, and then we have some additional shower and thunderstorm chances across the area, and we'll take a look at all that in the full forecast a little later. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Voters in Oklahoma get ready to cast their presidential primary votes for Super Tuesday today. It's not just Oklahomans ready to head to the polls today. Voters in 14 other states will cast their ballots on Super Tuesday, with more than a third of the total delegates up for grabs. That means former President Donald Trump can lock up the GOP presidential nomination with a big night. The Alliance of Southwest Missouri gets out their best hats and gets ready for an afternoon at the race's fundraiser. This Kentucky Derby themed event will feature live Kentucky Derby viewing, a Churchill Crowns hat bar, simulated horse races, themed drinks, a silent auction, and other Derby activities to benefit the Alliance. This event runs from 2 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, May 4th at the Sterling Event Center in Joplin. For ticket information and more information on the Alliance, head on over to our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. MoDOT wants to alert drivers in Joplin about upcoming road work beginning last night and running through Friday. Crews expected to find crews installing guardrails in 2 locations on Hearns Boulevard between 44th Street and 50th Street in Joplin. These installations will be from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. Drivers are urged to find alternate routes. City of Joplin announces times and locations for residents to drop off tree limbs and brush. Beginning next Friday, March 15th and Saturday, March 16th from 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. Joplin residents can stop by 1702 North Schifferdecker Avenue to drop off limbs. We have a full schedule of upcoming drop-off dates and sites for Joplin residents on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. State Emergency Management and the National Weather Service will conduct a statewide severe weather tornado drill this Wednesday at 11 a.m. Joplin, Jasper County, Carthage, and Webb City plan to move their March monthly regional outdoor warning siren test to coincide with the statewide tornado drill. Every school, citizen, and business is encouraged to participate in the drill. A liberal Missouri landmark came crashing down yesterday. Crews used a wrecking ball to tear down a grain elevator that's been there since 1950. We spoke with some residents about the demolition project. Many were sad to see it come down. Areas across the 4 states are experiencing red flag warnings, and notice from officials say that there is a high fire danger for the day. KOAM's Samantha Walker has more on the risk of fire in our current conditions.
A fire in Neosho that has been burning since Thursday is one of the latest examples of the current risks of fires. The Reddings Mill Fire District says they reevaluate conditions each day to see if it is safe to attempt a controlled burn.
We're basing it off criteria from the National Weather Service that is tied to fire index. They give ratings on what the weather's going to be, and that is deals with humidity, the dew point, and also the wind speeds for the day.
Meteorologists say weather conditions can play a big role in how dangerous fires can be.
The winds that we see, especially before rain events, like we get some pretty high wind gusts, that could blow a fire really easily. So if you have just a small one start, it's already like miles wide. Like it can cause some real issues.
The threat of a fire spreading is one of the biggest concerns.
So it doesn't take much to, for something to get out of hand, and then it becomes a very big problem.
Even on days that might be considered safe to burn, officials say there are steps you can take to help avoid a disaster.
Wet it all down, the area, not just what burnt, but the area around it as well. That will help slow the spread of it.
Reporting for KOAM News, I'm Samantha Walker.
Area fire departments recommend people call them before attempting a controlled burn to see if the conditions are safe. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. JetBlue Airways is ending its $3.8 billion bid to buy Spirit Airlines. We have the details. Plus, we have a cooler and mostly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from Miami, Oklahoma for Super Tuesday.
Find out all the ways to access Mercy at mercynow.net.
In Consumer Watch this morning, more than a dozen new budget airlines have launched since the pandemic started. Some have already folded, but most are going strong, offering new options for travelers. CBS News correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from San Francisco on the flying experience.
A Play Airlines plane arrives every day from Iceland at tiny Stewart International Airport, about an hour and a half outside of New York City. We were invited on the budget airline that has only economy seating, boxed food for a cost, and no entertainment options. But fares to Europe with a stopover in Iceland are as low as $118 each way from New York, Baltimore, Boston, and Washington, D.C.
It was basically about getting from A to B, and most people would like to do that as cheaply as possible. And so you can basically spend your money on your holiday.
There is such a hunger for travel.
Katie Nastro with the airline website Going.com says that's why budget airlines are taking off.
We are seeing just in the last month alone a 5% increase in the amount of people that are traveling since 2020.
Budget airlines aren't always at major airports, but fast-growing Breeze Airways does operate here out of San Francisco International, as well as California's LAX and San Diego International. Breeze is adding 13 airports and 25 domestic routes in 2024. Other airlines launching the last few years include the U.S.-based Avelo, Aerojet, mostly in the Caribbean, Norwegian-based Norse, Wizz Air in the Middle East and Europe, and Air Premia, Greater Bay, and Zip Air, all in Asia. One indicator of the difficulties of airline startups is that several have already collapsed, including British airline Flybe.
It's difficult. I mean, this is a cutthroat business.
In the U.S., low-cost airlines have grown from 5 to 15% of the market, putting pressure on larger airlines to lower costs. Nastro says they also tend to have fewer connections and better baggage handling. But there are sometimes other issues.
Budget carriers typically have a lower on-time performance versus other airlines.
She also says keep in mind budget airlines have fewer partners if there are problems to shift passengers to other flights. Wendy Gillette, CBS News, San Francisco.
Plane now flies to Split, Croatia, among more than 30 other European destinations, and also offers free stopovers in Iceland, allowing stays up to 10 days. JetBlue Airways is ending its $3.8 billion bid to buy Spirit Airlines. The move comes weeks after a federal judge blocked the deal over antitrust concerns. In a statement, JetBlue said that due to the hurdles, the two companies, quote, decided together that both airlines' interests are better served by moving forward independently. JetBlue is expected to pay Spirit $69 million to resolve any remaining issues with the failed merger. The European Union has hit Apple with a nearly $2 billion fine. The tech giant was accused of banning music streaming rivals like Spotify from informing users about cheaper subscriptions outside of using iPhone apps. It's the first antitrust penalty the EU has imposed on a U.S. tech company. Apple says it will appeal. And access to birth control is getting a major boost with the first over-the-counter pill hitting stores in the U.S. later this month. The hormone-based contraceptive O-pill is similar to prescription pills millions of American women have used for decades. It was approved for over-the-counter sales by the FDA last summer. A 1-month supply will cost about $20 and a 3-month supply will run around $50. And that's it for Consumer Watch, and here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a much cooler start out there today thanks to that cold front that rolled through. Unfortunately, we really didn't get much in the way of precipitation from it, but don't worry, we have more rain chances this week, ones that are a little bit better than what we saw with this frontal passage. Our camera, Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. We've got some clouds out to the east from that front. I had a few thunderheads out there as well with some storms trying to develop just east of our area. MoDOT camera, 32nd in range line, looking pretty good as well. And there's those little showers now just to the north of Branson out there, and we've got one shower at the southeast of Cassville, and that is about it where these thicker clouds are. And then we're going to start to see clouds gradually begin to increase across the area. This complex even had some severe thunderstorm warnings with it as it rolled across parts of northwestern Arkansas associated with that front, which is stretching from St. Louis almost parallel to I-44 back here into southwestern Missouri. And there's a better view of it on the temperature contour. Majority of us now into the low 40s out there, but there's still a few locations on or just ahead of that front where we're still seeing some 50-degree readings out there. Kids getting on the bus this morning, we are looking at about 44 degrees, mostly cloudy, north breeze 5 to 10. And when that bus brings them home, still mostly cloudy, 55. So we're about 20 degrees cooler than we were yesterday, and that north wind picks up a bit, about 15 to 20 miles an hour. We're going to have another full look at your forecast in just a moment. It's also just about time to celebrate birthdays and anniversaries. Those are coming up after the break. But first, let's see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, award-winning comedian Eugene Levy will be here in studio to talk with us about season number 2 of his hit series, The Reluctant Traveler. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
Ashley, your entire purchase or get 0% interest for 5 years with 0 down. Shop the Orange event at your local Ashley.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays in the 4 states. We're going to begin with Wes Martin, celebrating birthday number 5, says love you, Grandma and Pops.
And Xander Level is turning 6 years old from Sheldon, Missouri. Happy birthday, Xander.
And Raya Benjamin celebrating birthday number 11 over in Galena with happy birthday wishes coming from Mom and Dad.
Olivia Beard is turning 20 years old today. She's from Columbus, Kansas. Happy birthday, Olivia.
And over in Oswego, Haley Mills celebrating birthday number 21. Happy birthday, Haley.
Dwayne Boone is turning 51 years old today. It says with love from mom, sisters, and his 3 loving sons. Happy birthday, Dwayne.
And Kelly Moore celebrating birthday number 58, says that she's recovering from some surgeries and she's doing great, which is fantastic news, with birthday love coming from her husband, kids, the grandkids, and of course, the dogs.
And William Bud James is turning 94 years old. He's a retired Marine veteran. Thank you for your service and happy birthday, Bud.
And Bonnie Giante is celebrating another year wiser. Very happy birthday to you, Bonnie.
Craig and Janice Rennie from Columbus, Kansas are celebrating their 29th anniversary. Happy anniversary to you both.
And our list continues with Marilyn Morris in Columbus celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Marilyn.
And Pat White from Oswego, Kansas is also celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday, Pat.
Dawson King in Iola celebrating birthday number 22. Happy birthday from your entire family and friends.
Ryan Burke turns 50 today in Parsons, Kansas. Says wishing a happy birthday from his family. Happy birthday, Ryan.
And Eric King in Chanute celebrating another year wiser with happy birthday wishes coming from your entire family and friends.
And last but not least, Wilma Stewart turns 78 from Pittsburgh, Kansas. Happy birthday, Wilma.
All right, another fantastic list of birthdays and anniversaries here in the 4 states. Elise, if they'd like to celebrate with us, what do they need to do?
You can submit to birthdays at KOAMnewsnow.com. Be sure to add those pictures and messages if you so desire.
And of course, make sure that you meet that deadline that you see printed there on the bottom of your screen. That just ensures that your birthday or anniversary airs on the appropriate date, and that way your loved ones do not miss that celebration with us here on the KOAM Morning News. All right, let's take a look outside. This is our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. We got some clouds out there from some thunderstorms off to our east, or at least some showers that were thunderstorms trying to get going along a cold front that's rolled through most of the area at this point. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line looking pretty good as well. Skywatch storm tracker, and this is all that's left. You remember a moment ago, they were actually looking pretty decent for a second, and then they just kind of fizzled out. Saw this thunderstorm complex into northwestern Arkansas. It's had some severe thunderstorm warnings associated with it. Kind of has merged with some other cells and continues to grow now around Paris along I-40 as it rolls off to the east out there. And then some additional showers and storms now just to the south and east of Rolla as that front almost parallels I-44. And you can see over the last 3 hours where some different showers and storms have tried to get going back in our area, and they just haven't been successful. Our camera 7th in range line, take a look at that. Looks beautiful out there. Got those clouds out there with those storms. 42, so we're about 20 degrees colder now than we were yesterday morning. 38 is what it feels like. North breeze at 7. There's another great view of that cold front and that sharp divide on the temperatures. Low 40s for the majority of us, but still into the 50s ahead of this front as it continues to sink off to the south and east. As we get our morning started, not bad out there. Mostly cloudy, cooler of course. And we'll be about 52 by 11 o'clock this morning. As we head into the afternoon, afternoon, we're looking at highs again about 20 degrees cooler today, but still not bad. Upper 50s, mostly cloudy skies, but we will have that north wind at 15 to 20 miles an hour out there, so a bit breezy, but otherwise, again, not a bad day. Mostly cloudy through the evening and overnight. We'll fall back into the low to mid 40s across the area. And then we talked about additional shower and thunderstorm chances late Wednesday night into Thursday. We'll see showers and thunderstorms across the area. They will be with us nearly all day Thursday. We'll have some pauses here and there, and we'll even get another pause early Friday morning. And then by about noon, showers and thunderstorms do return to the area. And there is an attendant risk for some strong, maybe low-grade severe thunderstorms on Thursday. So for today, this again is associated with that front, what's trying to get going, but just has not been successful out there. Tomorrow, this is tomorrow night for those scattered evening thunderstorms. These will be late night on Wednesday, and then we have across the southwestern portion of our area that low end risk for some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds with some of the stronger storms as we head into our Thursday across the area, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. We'll have one more look at your forecast, including the extended forecast here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And when we make the transition over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., we're going to have the story of a 7-year-old who received a new heart.
Life's better when you're under our roof. Because when you feel...
Newton County, Missouri native fought across the Pacific Theater, earning the World War II Victory Medal. We are proud to salute Ted Jeffers, a four-state hero.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Jasper County deputies search for 2 persons of interest in connection to a death investigation. Authorities transported the male victim south Langford of Carl Junction to a local hospital with severe injuries from an apparent stabbing. He later died from his injuries. Detectives are currently looking for Scott Burleson of Wyandotte, Oklahoma, and Paul Phillips of Seneca, Missouri. If you have any information on these men, please contact the Jasper County Sheriff's Department. The Pittsburgh Area Chamber of Commerce wants your nominations for the 2024 Small Business and Educator of the Year Awards. If you have a small business or educator you'd like to nominate, head over to our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Voters in Oklahoma get ready to cast their presidential primary votes for Super Tuesday today. This election year in Oklahoma, independent voters can only vote via the Democratic Party ballot. The Republican and Libertarian Party primaries closed, meaning only Republicans and Libertarians can vote on those ballots. Those voting in the Oklahoma primaries can do so at their 13 polling sites between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we've got ourselves a cooler day out there as we go mid-upper 50s, mostly cloudy skies and a breezy north wind pushing 15 to 20 miles an hour. Will be mostly cloudy through the evening and overnight, and another cool one out there as we fall back into the low to mid 40s. We'll have some evening thunderstorm chances late tomorrow night. They'll continue through Friday. Upper 60s tomorrow, 60s continue through Friday. A little cooler on Saturday, and we'll warm up again quickly next week with additional shower and thunderstorm chances next Wednesday and Thursday.
All righty, sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
Not bad.
And coming up today at noon, we're making a 5-star chicken in the Mr. Food Test kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Ahead on CBS Mornings, meet a 17-year-old guitar prodigy, Grace Bowers. She jams with Vladimir Dutierrez and talks about breaking barriers as a guitarist on a male-dominated stage.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Rafi Andonian joins us in the studio to talk about Women's History Month.
And Charlene Patton joining us in the studio with another amazing recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.
Nova Village cordially